Hey guys, my name is Sanjay. Welcome to the Engineer Wannabe YouTube channel, and this is my friend Reinhard from the Quicker Draw Everyday Care. Because he used to be
Yeah, it's a
quicker
yeah,
than
the
drawing or something, right? Then it
yeah,
used to be
that's
different.
the YouTube handle is yeah,
Ah, gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, Instagram handle is Quicker Draw Everyday Carry. Um, but yeah, it's good to have you all here with us tonight. Good to have you, Reinhard, with me. I was
thanks
just
for having me.
telling him off screen how good it is to hear his voice. It's been about a year, I want to say, since we actually spoke face to face. So
Yeah, I think the last time we hung out, I was telling you that they were working on my retirement watch, which they came through a little
yeah,
bit late, but they came through really, really early this time for the last one. And I'm good for a while, a long while. But as watch geeks, nerds,
yeah,
addicts, there's probably something that I told our sales associate, not to jump ahead in the story. I told her, she's like, "Yeah, you're pretty much done," and I was like, "Yeah, I think I am. I think I am. Unless there's like a fun tutor that comes out. I'm not looking for a big purchase anytime soon, but
got
I'm
you.
actually trying to refine my collection. But anyway,
Yeah, until something new comes that we are not expecting, right?
yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, something excites. Yeah,
Yeah,
something tickles your fancy. You always, make
yeah,
room for that. But as far as the and we'll talk about the I guess significance of this particular timepiece versus
yeah,
the retirement watch and then the anniversary watch. Those are the three Rolexes that actually mean something. And I could probably
right.
show you my wife's collection as well, because it's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. It's within arm's reach too. I can grab it.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That sounds good.
Mhm.
So what's on your wrist today? The watch in
I
question?
haven't been able. Yeah, I haven't been able to take it off. Honestly, it's
Yeah,
it's it's the yeah it's the Kermit Mark II, the 2003
yeah.
version.
Very
It's
nice.
it is a lighter bezel. If you've seen any of the photos of it, when the sunlight hits it, especially, it's very very green, very
Yeah,
bright, like a lime green color.
like
Yeah,
would you say it's the same bezel as the Hulk?
yeah. I think that's what they were going for. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yep.
to me, that's kind of what struck me. I haven't
Mhm.
seen the original Kermit in person, but
Mm.
this thing was really bright when I got to borrow Marcus's one. It
Yeah,
was
that's awesome. So he got his this year as well.
yes, yeah.
Okay,
What?
that's
No,
great.
was it? No, no, it was this year. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was this year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's great, man. That's awesome to have friends that entrust you with that. He's also another good cast member, panelist that you have
yeah,
on occasion. I enjoy his sense of humor.
yeah. He's great. On my wrist is the SJE watch in question as
Oh,
well.
yeah. At some
Yeah.
point, I need to get a Seiko too, Sanjay. I keep bugging them at the AD. I'm like, yo, why don't you guys carry Seikos or Omega? I think the Omegas they're working on eventually
Okay.
soon.
So
Maybe.
they don't have Omega. That's
No, they
not
don't. They've
fair.
got Tag. They have Tissot, Tudor recently, which they
Yeah.
finally started carrying that.
Yeah.
I think Bulova too. I'm not sure, but
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's say hi to everyone in the chat and then we'll get into the story.
yeah, sure.
Um, or I'll ask you questions. I'm not gonna throw you into the wolves and get you to
Yeah,
tell the
no,
story.
yeah, that's good stuff.
80s 80s nostalgia guy. Hey, nice to meet you. I don't know if I've seen you before, but welcome. It says, love the watch. On the SJ093 has become second favorite watch in my collection after SJ089. Oh, wow. Two SJEs. Very nice. Yeah, I think mine's the second favorite as well, right behind the Zenith 36 mil Skyline. Yeah, Defy Skyline. Whenever I say Skyline, I think of a Nissan.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah. Those are rad cars from back in the day. I don't know
yeah,
if
so
they still crank them out or
well, they call it the GTR now, right? Because it used to be the Skyline
yes,
GTR. I
right,
think it's
right, right.
just GTR now. Maybe in Japan they still call it the Skyline, but whenever I say Defy Skyline, I'm like, that can't be right. That's a
Yeah,
car. Rare Candy says perfect. Hey, nice to meet you, Rare Candy. Um, PK says can't take my SGE off. Hey, look at that. We're all watch bros, bros here. Keeps getting better with time. He says. Scott T says we'll only be there for the SG content. We'll stay for the Rolex content too. That's a lot of fun. Um, hey Eric, Big E, good to see you. What's tonight's topics? Well, we're gonna talk a bit about Reinhardt's collection, I guess. Mostly the recent acquisition of the Kermit. I'm sure there'll be other topics that just come our way because we're pretty laid back here. You know that. You know that, Biggie. Hey, Michael. Good to see you. Underachieving watch collectors here. Guys, let us know what's on your wrist. It'd be great to know. Bill K. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Hey, Chaz. How's it going?
Yeah, chance.
Um, let's see. James Duffy is here as well. Good to see you. Kevin Hawthorne. How's it going? Chaz wearing the docks at sub 300. That was quite the story last week. How he
Yeah,
got that.
yeah, I know. Was it Dib? Was it? Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, yeah.
no,
No,
but
sorry,
Dr. Bobby.
I'm mixing them up. Sorry,
Yeah, no, that's okay.
my bad.
Yeah, I did not expect that singer reimagined
Hmm.
to make a showcase or show up.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I didn't even know he was in the market for something like that. But
yeah,
oh, crazy piece. Have you seen it at
yeah.
all?
I saw. So I was watching it, your stream last week, and it
Yeah.
has like the racetrack with the orange. Orange,
Yeah.
speaks to me. That's why ended up trading pretty much or selling off the older Explorer 2 Polar Dial,
Oh,
and I got the newer Polar Dial. However,
oh,
that may or may not be hanging around depending on what I've got going on here in the next few months as far as commitments. But anyway,
yeah. Yeah, interesting. Would you consider that an orange watch?
I think so. Well, to me,
Oh,
the Polar Dial, yes, the orange. It's not like predominant. Obviously, it's a highlight, of the watch itself. But
yeah.
to me, I rather that over the red GMT
Mm,
hand on the older one. Like I preferred the 40 mil size of the older one, but the bracelet clasp was really just kind of eventually bugged me enough to the point where I traded it in or
yeah.
upgraded slightly. It wasn't too much of a delta between the two price wise. So.
So that was the press bracelet version, right? The 40 mil.
Yes, the
Yeah.
the older one. Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah. We got Walt here. How's it going, Walt? Good to see you. Brownies, we're on the gray side of the moon. Very nice. Wish I was in New York City, but gotta work. Stay in Chicago. Chicago. Ken Spear checking in from Pittsburgh. Welcome, sir. Good to see you. Hey, Big Wrist is here too. Good to see you, sir. Um, Marcus F is here. Hey, how's it going? Good morning. Good day. Ken Spears wearing the Orient Kamasu. Let's see. Mez9's wearing the Ranger. Good to see you, Mez9. And Mark Brooklyn, old money aesthetic, he says. Not quite sure what that means. I do kind of live under a rock, so uh, but hey, welcome, Mark. Let's see. If any part of the watch is orange, I call it an orange watch, says Chaz. Okay.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I think his is tied to a sports team too. I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, so
Okay.
that's why.
Is that
Have been
football?
since the late '80s. No, baseball. Sorry.
Baseball. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm not a sports guy except for like European kind of sports. That side of the world heavy. Like cricket, soccer,
Mhm.
football.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of cricket games. It can get exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
ABC
It's
used to televise them. Yep.
yeah. Do you in cricket you get to have more hero figures,
Mm.
like you can have a star. I mean, I guess that kind of happens in baseball too, but in cricket the batsmen they stay on until they get out, right? Rather than they don't get to run around the field and then sit back down. The batsmen keep scoring runs and they have a tally to their name, a run tally.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah,
Huh.
so you
Yeah, I
get like
never
hero
knew the
figures,
rules.
which
That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Just they're just up there almost the whole time.
yeah, yeah, until they get out.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and there are two batsmen on at the same time. When they have to exchange places for it to count as one run, and then you can get run out, which is like getting um, tagged out, I guess, in baseball. I'm not sure
Mhm.
what you call it when
Right.
someone.
Yeah. If they catch the, if it's like a pop out or pop fly, or even if they catch the ball and it's a foul ball, but it's
Right.
within the boundaries of, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it. Reinhard, you mentioned that you got three special watches that signify that was it is that what you said? I don't know if I misheard you, but there
No,
are
I
three.
did.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, sir.
can you mention what those three watches are?
So the
And
first one, I mentioned the reference number last week or a couple of weeks ago, and you're like kind of perplexed. Sorry, I go by reference numbers, especially
no,
with
no.
Rolex.
Yeah.
The ones I can't like put to commit to memory for whatever reason are the Seiko ones,
Oh,
and I have a
really?
couple of Seikos. Well,
Yeah.
the 007, maybe those are a little bit more because they're so prevalent. But the newer ones that come out, I think I had an SRP. It looked kind of
Yeah.
like a Batman. It was a while ago, but I've since got
Yeah.
rid of it. Anyway, so the first watch that I ended up getting, I was actually deployed at the time, and I hit up somebody at the very beginning of, well, spring 2020. So, was going on during that time was the big, scare. And they're like, hey, people were trying to offload things, and we didn't, and no one knew where the watch market was going. A lot of people were like, well, these things are going to probably tank. And they're like, well, I kind of want to sell it because maybe I lost my job. I don't know what the guy's circumstance was, but
Yeah.
I picked up an Explorer,
Okay.
uh, the Mark II of 39 mil, the Mark
Right.
II, which means the 3, 6, and 9 are loomed.
Yeah.
I picked it up for, I think he had it listed for $6,200. I said, hey, would you take 59 on Chrono 24? And he like accepted it, and I was kind of amazed. I wasn't home, so FedEx, couldn't ship it to where I was deployed. So my wife received it here at home, and then
Hmm.
I told her just keep it. Don't send it to me. I've already, prior to that, I picked up an Omega Speedmaster. I already had a couple of decent deployment watches. Anyway,
Okay.
long story short, that was for my 15th anniversary. I also found her an Oyster Perpetual in Germany,
Nice.
and she likes the color purple, so I picked her up a grape dial one. I think it's the 26 millimeter one.
Yeah.
Actually, let me see if I can snag it real quick. Sorry, I should have been more prepared,
No.
but oh, it's right here. Yep, I found it. Here we go. Uh, yeah, so this was her 15th anniversary watches, and apparently she looked it
Wow.
up too. She's like, "Hey, apparently, like you can give, you know, it's a legitimate 15th anniversary gift to gift a watch." And
Okay.
so I was like, "Okay."
Wow.
So I went looking for. Prior to this, it's taken me years. So anyone else who has a wife that or girlfriend, whatever, like I bought her, like I've got a graveyard of fossil watches I tried to gift her over the years, and eventually she caught on. I got her an Apple Watch for Mother's Day several years ago, and it got
Yeah.
her kind of accustomed to wearing a watch on the wrist, and so I got her a Seiko for Christmas. I don't know where she's got that right now, where that's gone to, but it's about the same size as that 26 millimeter OP.
Okay.
Well, so when I was shopping around for it, I said, "Hey, do you like this?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, it's great. It looks awesome." And I think I only paid like, I don't know, 3,200 euros or something. It's very modest amount. Obviously I spend a little bit more on the Explorer because it's an Explorer,
Right.
um, but still well under the retail price. So um, that was good. And then
Yeah.
we fast forward to me coming back from that deployment. She
So
ended up go ahead, sorry.
sorry, I was gonna ask, so how long were you without that watch? How long did it stay home before you actually got to wear it?
So April of 2020, and I came home eventually. I was supposed to be home May
Yeah.
latest, but they kept us for another month and a half because my replacement was being quarantined and all that other
Okay.
stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we got home late June, the last week of June, and then I enjoyed that watch for a while. Kind of, you know, I mean, watch guys, right? So
Yeah.
I had the Willard, the green Willard. I think you may have seen that at one point.
Yes, yes.
I may have
Yeah.
showed that one to you. So I had that, and then
Yeah.
when I got the retirement watch of the BLNR, the GMT Master 2
Yeah.
Batman, the
Yeah,
one
my
that
favorite watch.
you love so much. When I got that, the AD was like, "Hey, is there any other thing?" Because she straight up said that because I bought a Submariner, just a plain Jane discontinued sub,
Yeah.
um, gray market. And when she saw me do that, because I came in wearing it, I was like, yeah, I couldn't, I wanted to go to a wedding and I kind of wanted to wear something that wasn't like that was newer to the collection. I hoped that they would have been able to give me my retirement watch before I
Mm.
went to that wedding. So I picked up the sub. It was sort of a temporary thing. I still have it in the collection. However, I think that one's going to be one of the first to go, just to kind of level it out. I'm trying to get it to an even seven. I know that sounds harebrained, but to me, seven is like an even number because
Yeah, yeah.
it's a
Perfect
week,
number.
right? So it's easier to
Yeah.
manage, and
Yeah.
it's a it's a number of completion for those of you
Yeah.
who yeah. Anyway, so fast forward to the BLNR. I said to them, I said, hey, this is my only green watch. I said, hey, would a green bezel sub, would that be like doable? Essentially, is what I told her, and she was like, yeah, okay, we'll work on it or whatever. And then eventually, because I'm pretty persistent, so
Yeah.
I started talking, or I may have mentioned it to the store manager, and two, I was very kind of a little bit paranoid that like Rolex does stuff sometimes that's unpredictable,
Mm.
and so
Mhm.
I'm a little paranoid, and they were sensitive to this. That they changed it for this 1 year. I don't know what you guys think about this crazy theory, but they changed the bezel color this year.
Yeah.
If they were to discontinue it like next year, like this coming spring, it would be it wouldn't be the first time they did something crazy like that where they cut it
Right.
off limited. It's probably going to be in their catalog for a while, but I was like, hey, I really don't want to get this gray market. I'd rather
Mm.
spend because we're celebrating our 20th anniversary in relatively soon, the next 3 years. So
Yeah.
I told them, I said, hey, look, we're here for these. My wife graduated from college. That's the OP, the candy pink OP that we picked up for. That was the first one at the
Nice.
dealer. Yeah, it's a really special color. It's not 36, otherwise I'd be tempted to, like borrow it.
Yeah. So what is
uh,
it?
it's a
31?
30, 31. Yeah, they
31, yeah.
they discontinued it almost immediately.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
two,
say those
yeah,
Oyster Perpetuals were one of those that they did for 1 year, right? Like the
this certain ones in certain sizes, yes.
it's like the Tiffany
And
blue or
yeah, that turquoise color or whatever.
turquoise, yeah.
So yeah, so they actually let her purchase this, and I have a receipt that proves this. It says layaway because their because their computer system could only do it a certain way. So
Yeah.
they actually ordered it for her. She said
Okay.
they said, "Hey, we can order it for you." They ordered it in August, or I'm sorry, late May. It came in August, so 3 months later it showed up. But that ordering only happened for about a week. Like they only turned that
Hmm.
on for like a week. Normally you can't order. I mean, probably now it's gotten to the point where you can kind of order stuff, but
Right.
it's pretty much like whatever ADs get, they get. Anyway,
Right.
so I told them straight up, like in the future, we're probably going to want to get, upgrade my wife's ring. So we've set aside money for that. And really, I'm not like a crypto millionaire or anything. We sold a couple of houses after moving so many times and finally settling here for now. So
Yeah.
we had a little bit to kind of, redirect towards, these landmark milestone pieces.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and so yeah, that's where kind of the watch collecting and I'm kind of in the consolidation phase where I'm really trying to just focus on wearing. I mean, I haven't taken this thing off since the 29th of September. I've been wearing the same watch the whole time, so I'm like, the other watches in my collection. I was telling my friends this. They're getting kind of nervous.
Yeah.
They're like, dude,
So
why are you wearing that every day? Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, I was gonna ask, so the BLNR was gonna be your retirement watch,
Yeah,
right?
and eventually did come. I could go snag it. It's not too far away, but
Yeah.
I did end up getting that July of last year, and
Okay.
then I know we're kind of jumping all over the place timeline
Oh, no,
wise
no.
here, but I then told them towards the tail end of the year, yes, I'd like a Kermit. We'll see if they'll see. Okay, well, usually they get a few of those a year, so yeah, within the
Mhm.
next year or so, you should be able to get some. I wasn't expecting it this soon, though, honestly, because I was like, yeah, because they were like, well, because the last time I asked the store manager, she was like, yeah, maybe in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I picked up that Black Bay 54 just kind of to be like, okay, well, if the sub is going out, I need a no date watch, right? So the
Yeah.
54 was there, and what's crazy is, and I think I told you this,
Yeah.
the Pelagos 39 showed up the week I went to go pick this up. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, man, are you guys kidding me right now? And I could have
I
dropped the coin, but I was like, dude, this is just too much. I can't do this.
Yeah. Was it,
Yeah.
during the same visit that you went
Uh,
to pick it up?
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think it was, yeah.
the week it was exactly one Friday later after I bought the Black Bay 54.
Yeah.
But what's good about what did happen is, providentially enough, this is how it went down. The guy came from out of town. He was looking for that. He not only was he glad that he found it, there was
Right.
another sale. He was so happy that he picked up another tutor for his wife too. So for the store, it meant more sales, and I'm all
Yeah.
for that, because do I really need a 39? No, this was actually supposed to be for my 50th birthday, which isn't until late next year. It's not even
Yeah.
this year. I only turned 49, but in the grand sense of things, if the biblical jubilee really
Yeah.
is 49, so it's right on time.
Okay, yeah, yeah. 7 times 7,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah. Oh,
No
that's
jubilee
great.
bracelet though. It's got an oyster.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that would've been perfect. Um,
Uh,
uh,
but no, the reason why I asked for it is because it's their 50th anniversary color scheme. So
oh,
back in
that's cool.
2003, they released the Kermit, and
Man,
that's
you've really put
I,
a lot
I,
of
I
thought
try to
into it.
think things out. Well,
Yeah.
if you give me 1 second, I'll show you the watch I got married in.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yeah, of
anything
course.
fancy, and I'll show you. Oh,
Yeah.
1 second
I'm
here. Sorry.
No, no, no.
Uh,
Please take your time. I'm gonna say hi to some of the people in the chat here. We got,
yeah,
Steve's here. Good to see you, Steve. How's it going? Let's see. Hey, Joey's here too. I don't know if I said hi to you, Joey,
Steve.
if I missed you, but good to see you as well. For a Martinez, Anton, Gabriel. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. I don't think I've seen you before, so thanks for joining us. Hey, sympathy for the Bezos here too. This dude is 49. I thought he was in the late 20s.
You are too kind.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't look 49.
Yeah, not
Uh,
yet. In next month. Next month.
yeah, you'll look 49 next month. No, no. But yes, please, show us the
So this was it right here. I'm gonna find a place to set this down in the meantime.
yeah.
I'm just gonna try and tumble. I got a messy desk. Sorry. So this is the watch I got married in, and
Oh,
since I was Air Force, the dial, most of the dial color is blue,
right.
and it went with my dress blues, right? So, but also in my BDUs back then, we had the woodland camo pattern,
Okay.
um, from like 2002 when I came in to about 2010 2011, was the cutoff for that. The green on here, it matched the camo, so
Okay.
it served like kind of a double purpose. Well, for when I retired, I they're like, hey, so I asked them, I said, hey, if you guys can get me either and ADs hate this. They hate when you give them like some ADs
Yeah.
don't mind. They'll say, hey, if you give me a range of what you kind of want, but usually they want you to pick like a specific watch so that they have, like, I don't know if it's like something their management wants or the store owner wants them to, like, so that way you're locked into that thing, and then
Mm,
that way you're not fighting for somebody else's because they're locked into something else, right?
okay.
I'm not sure, but so I asked them, I said, okay, so it makes sense from an Air Force standpoint, because the color blue, to ask for the BLNR. So that's what I ended
Mm.
up getting for my retirement present, um,
Yeah.
gift. And this I kind of used a little bit of crypto. So I'm not crypto rich, but I did bail out before it started really tanking. I wish
Okay.
I would have pulled out 3 months sooner because it would have been a little bit more, but I didn't want to wind up in a different tax bracket. So I waited until the end of the year to be
Mm.
in another bracket. So when I filed taxes, I wasn't paying too much. Anyway,
Yeah.
it paid just enough for the watch. Actually,
Nice.
a little bit under. I still had to chip in a couple grand, so it wasn't a
Yeah.
lot of money.
So you couldn't
And then
have paid with crypto? That would have been
I
sweet.
don't I don't think they take crypto at our
Yeah.
jeweler, at our AD, but I mean, I could ask.
Yeah.
And then obviously the story on this one. So that's really it. And then prior to, it's funny too because like again, this is another reason why I wasn't expecting anything. My
Yeah.
wife turns a certain age at the end of the year, and we asked for um, a lady date just for her,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
we asked for it in oyster. But when the our sales associate like hit us up and said, "Hey, we've got it," and she showed me this. She showed me a picture of this, and I was
Oh,
like,
nice.
"Man, you gotta be kidding me!" It's so nice to look at, and
Yeah.
the Jubilee bracelet. Initially, I was like, I kind of had to like pause for a split second, and I was like, "Man,
Hmm.
it's a really nice looking dial. The bezel's awesome. The mop dial is ridiculous." But at the same time, I had to kind of go, "Well, she doesn't like things catching on to her arm hairs, right?
Right.
It's very small hair. She's not a hairy person per se,
Yeah.
but yeah, it'll snag. So, but Jubilee bracelets, Rolex Jubilee bracelets, no issues, none
Yeah.
whatsoever. It's so
Yeah.
like like almost like I want to say mithril for any Lord of the Rings nerds out there, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Smooth.
armor. Yeah, it's very
Right.
smooth, and there's not going to catch on anything.
Yeah. I never anticipated Rolex Jubilee to be a hair puller because
Mm.
whenever I've seen them,
Hmm.
there's because the underside is flat, right? It's not all rounded. I guess that might contribute to it pulling hairs, but for some reason, it it's never really given me that impression. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And so
I'm not sure if
go ahead.
in the past it used to, or do you know if vintage models had?
I'm I'm not. No, I've never owned a vintage model. The closest
Oh,
thing was that 40 mil. That's from 2002. I've
yeah.
never owned anything prior to that. That's more neo vintage, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Very very cool. The uh, so you mentioned that you were satisfied now with these three models, and you also have a BlackBerry 54 in the sub, but the sub is going, you're thinking?
Yeah, most likely we have like Clayton. I tend to use sometimes watch funds for doing stuff around the house.
Yeah,
So
yeah, of
we've
course.
got some like landscape stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we're trying to like kind of just shift some stuff around,
Yeah.
without dipping into savings or anything like that. So
Right. No, that makes sense. I was thinking that's got to be the only explanation because for someone to, I mean, that's not the only explanation, but for someone
mhm.
who is able to wear a sub, like you have a pretty good size wrist, I'm guessing.
No, yours and mine are pretty close. Like I'd say mine
Really?
is well, yeah, I'd say mine is closer to 6.5, but it's probably somewhere between 6.3 and 6.5. And it just
Okay.
they just swell up, and that's what's awesome about the glide lock is that you can the incremental. It's great. I mean, this one's a little
Yeah.
fatter than the older one, but it's the sideways motion that really helps get the
Yeah.
to fit the nicest.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I wish, would you prefer the GMT Master 2 to have a glide lock, or would you be okay without it?
So interesting experiment. I
Yeah.
actually so because the older discontinued sub has a glide lock or is 20 millimeters.
Hmm.
I did an experiment one night. I'll show you I'll I can find the video. If I can find it, I'll pull it up and show you. But so the
Yeah.
only difference is the spring bars for the sub are thicker, so they won't fit through the GMT.
Hmm.
But if you use the spring bars from the GMT, you can get them to fit on the sub. However, it's not as the fitment isn't
That's,
it's looser tolerances. Yeah,
yeah. The
it's like an
slap.
AK versus an AR-15. Anyway, that's kind of a weird gun guy thing to say. But
Okay. AK. AK is not American. AR-15 is an American built, right?
they make AKs. Kalashnikov actually has a factory in Texas now.
Oh, okay.
I've been told.
Okay.
It's kind of
Interesting.
neat.
Let's say let's see what's going on in the chat here.
Mhm.
80s nostalgia guy asking how many here own the SJE 093. Me, just one. um, I'm sure there's quite a few, and a few of our friends aren't here tonight. So I know a couple more who have an SJE 093 at least. But yeah, interesting question, I should say. Jay Thor, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. This is good conversation tonight. Thank you, sir. Michael Nauer says you can tell the Jubilee doesn't pull hairs by the hairy Italians that were. I did not expect that. That's a good.
That's fun. That's funny.
And 80s nostalgia guy with another good question. If you could only have one watch in your collection, which would it be?
I, I tend to lean towards the Explorer only because it was my first Rolex,
Oh,
and it it's an anniversary watch. It's the only watch that I have tied to our wedding.
yeah.
And it's a 39, so as the older I get, maybe something happens and I can't go to the gym anymore, and I just start doing the Asian guy thing and just shrinking and kind of just start shriveling up, and my wrist isn't as whatever size it is now. So maybe 39 makes more sense. I know that I've kind of like settled down because I still have an IWC double chrono, and it's 44, and it's in uniform it was great because I've got a long sleeve shirt. It's like matte black and very stealthy looking, and it went well with the uniform. But now that I'm
Yeah.
retired, it's like I don't. It just doesn't fit anymore. I guess not fit. It doesn't fit the type of outfits that I wear now versus then. So with that, I'd actually explored switching or trading it in for a 41
Hmm.
ceramic, just because it's a little bit more manageable. Plus the case back. Have you ever seen the case back of that Sanjay? It's nice.
The Doppelchrono or
No, the Ceratanium 41, right? Just straight chrono.
oh,
The,
okay. No, I haven't.
yeah,
Mhm.
the double chrono Ceratanium. It's a very sturdy watch, but there's no. It just says Top Gun on the back. It's not a
Okay.
display case back, but the 41 display case back is really rad.
Right. That's
Yeah.
is that the one where the collective did a limited run of like a variation of it? I
Maybe,
think. Yeah.
maybe, yeah. I'm not 100% sure on
It,
that. I know
it's a
it's like
pretty
technically exclusive. Yeah.
yeah, a pretty slick watch. I'd love to get an IWC, but
Mhm.
it's, I don't know if there's anything that really, rings my bell, so to speak. At least not yet. I'm
Mhm.
sure I'll find something if I want to, but I don't
Mhm.
want to find anything right now. I'm laser focused on that Santos.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that's a fantastic watch. If I didn't already have a Reverso, I would
oh
have.
yeah,
Yeah, I would have. It would have been. I was actually looking at the DLC coded. The Yeah, it's a Santos, right? The
yeah,
DLC. Have you seen it? It's black.
the grip
Rita
bezel.
on that one other Watch Society or whatever channel on YouTube. He
Right,
had
right.
one at some point. Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
nice.
Clayton used to own that DLC bezel Santos as well.
Cool.
And
I'm
yeah,
gonna have to check
he
out his Instagram again. Yeah, because that was
yeah.
neat. So, but I ended up picking up the IWC because I needed. These like
Right.
first world problems. I was
Yeah.
looking for a black watch for
Yeah.
the collection at the time, and it was either that or the IWC, and I couldn't pass up the IWC being, it's right now. It even actually went up. Like I think initially it was like 14 something, and I
Yeah.
bought it off of somebody for way less than that. And I was like,
Mm.
that's a good price. And, I could probably still get out of it right around the same price, which I'm trying to.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of see where the funds for that one goes. But
Yeah. Guys in the chat, feel free to answer 80s nostalgia guys question too. Love to hear your thoughts from your collection. Um, is that IWC on your Instagram? I have your Instagram loaded up right here.
yeah, maybe I haven't worn it in a while. I may have worn it to church one time, like a few
Recently.
months ago. Yeah, I'd say maybe like in the middle of summer. So, I mean, if you look through
Oh, I
that, I'm
forgot
like, it's
you
almost.
got a Speedy. Do you still have the Speedy?
Yeah, I do. So,
Yeah.
story on that was, and it's actually really, that one's a special one, because
Yeah.
when I was deployed, we sold our house in Kansas, and I was looking to get my family. I was like, yeah, I told my brother at the time, I was like, hey man, I kind of feel like I've neglected you over the years. I haven't kept up with your, birthday presents or anything. And I
Mm.
said, so I want to get you a watch. I know he loved, he had a like a Citizen, pretty sure a Seiko somewhere. He had a G-Shock. It might have been even been one of those Rangeman ones. He
Yeah.
was a watch guy through and through. And I said, "You are most definitely a chrono guy. I know you. I mean, you're to some extent you're a lot like me in that way." Anyway, fast forward to later that year, he had it for a few months, um, and I bought a matching one, so it was kind of like we were I bought it off of Crown and Caliber too, prior to
Yeah.
them being acquired by Hodinkee, and it was really cheap. It's like $3,000 each, I think. Like I
Yeah.
used the coupon for mine; it was like $29.50 or something like
Wow.
that. It was insane. So anyway, that one I got rid of eventually. I kept my brother's, and this is
Okay.
why. My mom ended up with it, and she never really used it. She ended up with it because October of that year, almost to the day actually. It's in a couple of
Mm.
days, if not today. It was today. That was yesterday, I
Okay.
think. He
Oh
passed.
man.
So he passed away that like 3 years ago. And so
Yeah.
when he passed, my mom and my dad split up kind of his stuff. She grabbed. I said, yeah, give it to my younger brother Jordan. And so he ended up with it for a little while. He never wore it though. I was like, Mom, do you ever, does he ever wear Spencer's watch? And she's like, no, he never wears it. So
Mm.
I said, okay, she needed money at some point earlier this year. I said, okay, I'm going to sell mine. Okay. And I'll help you out
Yeah.
with your financial issue. Can you give me Spencer's watch? Because I want to keep it. If you guys aren't, if Jordan's not going to wear it, if you don't want it for whatever reason, give it to me. I'll sell my watch, and I'll send you some help financially. That way, we're kind of helping each other out. I mean, I want to pass it on to my kids because it's
Mm.
their uncle's watch, right? Like they miss him.
Yeah.
So it means something, and that's
Yeah.
why I think that's the biggest thing about like watch collecting. I think for most people is that you're almost like trying to like pitch in towards your legacy somewhat a little bit, right? Like
Mm. Hmm.
we're you know we're gone in a blip. Like life is
Yeah.
so quick that if you can somehow like I'm not saying like in a worldly way, like
Right.
become immortalized, but you can pass on like an heirloom to a child or a grandchild, and then kind of inspire them to
Hmm.
do good things. Maybe they want to cash in, use it for a vehicle or college or whatever. It's that's why Rolex is always a safe bet. Um,
Hmm.
they can do that. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Really special watch. And again, sorry to hear and sorry to.
No, it's. I mean, you and I both know that things happen in this world, and it's
Hmm.
they're it's for it's for good in the end. It,
Yes.
it kind of it hurts initially, but it's for good in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. And it might sound callous to some in a way, um, but it is something we do believe, like in Romans 8:28, all things work together for good to those who love God. So yeah, it's the peace that we can have when horrible things happen, right? Not to speak for you, Reinhard, but
No,
I know that's
absolutely.
yeah.
You and I are like right here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I completely, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad to
Um,
be able to share. Thank you for listening.
yes, no, please. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Might not be able to find that IWC here, but to answer
Mhm.
80s nostalgia guys question on my end, I would
Mhm.
probably pick let's see if I can go to my profile. How do I do that on the computer?
It's his profile right there.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep, got it.
So I'd pick this one here. I'd pick my Zenith Defy Skyline.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a nice. I like blue
one watch.
too. The blue dial is nice, man.
Yeah, it's such a perfect blue.
Yeah.
Um, it might not be the most versatile piece, but
Mhm.
I feel like it's probably one of the more less desirable watches that I have. And so
Mm.
if I needed to sell everything but keep one, I think that would probably
Mm.
be the least painful to do in terms of at least financially. Because
Right.
Planet Ocean can go,
Yeah.
Grand Seiko can go pretty easily. Like people always want that. Not quite sure if everyone would want that Zenith. It's kind of like a ugly duckling, or remind some people about the Royal Oak, right? And
It does kind of, yeah. With
yeah.
and the waffle dial. Is it a waffle dial or is it like kind of a?
No, it's actually like a drilled, like a hole dial. Let
Hmm,
me,
okay.
yeah, like a laser.
Because I know, like technically, the AP has a tapisserie dial, which is like
Yeah.
little tiny pyramids. But okay. Oh
So
yeah, you can't even tell though from far. Like you have to zoom in. You know what I mean? Like from far away, it kind of looks like a tapisserie dial.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. They're like little stars or something.
stars, yeah.
Nice.
Zenith wants to say it's like their logo motif. I'm not buying it because it's not a five-pointed star.
Yeah.
It's just I like thinking of this as like circles. They kind of look like
Mm.
circles on a grid, and
Hmm.
I really like that um philosophy, or that picture in my head, rather than the stars, negative
Yeah,
stars, or
yeah.
yeah.
I found that one video I was talking about where
Oh,
I
yeah.
did a like it's really it's really odd
Odd as in like how
on a
it sits.
on a glide lock. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
it's really weird. I mean, it works, but it's just kind of not as secure. Well, on that's actually pretty secure because that's the spring bars for the GMT Master
Yeah.
2. It's the other way around when you put the GMT Master 2 bracelet on the sub, the old sub. It
Mm,
works, but it's the spring bars are kind of skinny.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a
HM.
Zenith too at some time in the past. So go ahead.
Oh yeah. Like, do you still have it?
No, it
Okay.
was a Defy as well, but it was a big 44.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Like one of those skeletonized defies?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find a photo of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be great.
it's crazy.
HM is saying the A384 brown dial is killing it right now. In your collection, it's HM? Because isn't the A384 brown dial like the cappuccino dial? I thought that was called the A385. I could be wrong, but it is gorgeous watch. Probably one of my favorite. I think I still like the white dial with the red seconds hand, but yeah, the brown dial is really nice. Pale Horse, hey, good to see you. Hope you are well as well. Um, Sympathy for the bezel, same Pilot 36 is top notch. Let's see. Oh, yes, he says it's A384. Yeah. Oh, so good. Congrats on that. Luchbetic Mark Talks Watches says my Zenith Defy Skyline 41 blue dial has become my favorite watch. Hey, there we go. We're kind of watch bros. Mine's like the stunted
Mhm.
version of your your watch.
No, it's
Yours has that pretty cool 10 beats 10 beats per second. No, what was it? 10 seconds, or
oh
the second sub
yeah, the
second.
second hand.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
spins
yeah. I
once every
know, I
10
know. So
seconds.
yours doesn't have one.
No, no, mine doesn't
Okay,
even have a
okay.
10 beat per second movement. It's just a
Movement.
regular
Okay.
Zenith Elite movement. I wish they kind of did like a 10 beats per second, a high beat Skyline, but it's too bad that they didn't.
Hmm. Okay,
Well,
I
it's
didn't
still
know that.
still yeah. HM saying with the gi for I can't pronounce that name. Ladder bracelet. Yes, yes, very nice. Um, yeah. So, um, question for you: the
Gotcha.
Yachtmaster titanium. Are you
Ooh.
tempted at all?
Um, no, I was looking at it and I was like, no, not really, because especially since it is very very difficult to get, and I really, I already told RAD that our my probably next thing to get is perhaps in the next 5 to 10 years, depending on financially, maybe if I can do it in 5 years, if not, push it off to in the next to the next 10 years. Obviously, by the time I'm 60, perhaps I'll be interested in a two-tone piece because
Yeah.
it just seems like two-tone pieces and like full gold pieces tend to go better with um, uh, gray hair. So
You think so?
I've got like a little bit, yeah, I've got a little bit, but I don't have that much. So it's, yeah, I think it so two-tone pieces, in my opinion, right? I mean, we always have to
Yeah.
couch it with that phrase because
Right.
in my opinion I think it's more like I saw a gentleman at Chick-fil-A on the way up to Phoenix a
Yeah.
while ago, and I had to make a photo of this thing. He was wearing a two-tone Daytona, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. It looked good on him because he was like a well, silver fox kind of guys,
Okay.
so I couldn't, I don't know that I could pull off a two-tone piece in the next 7 to 10 years. So maybe in 10 years I'll re-examine. She did try to. She was like, "Hey, are you interested in I'm sorry, a root beer?" But that was like, I think she asked me that question 2 years ago. So, and I was like, "Nah, I'm
Hmm.
pretty set on the BLNR because it makes more sense. You know, it's blue.
Yeah.
As Air
Air
Force,
Force. Yeah.
sticking to it. Plus, over time, when I kind of not pivoted, but I came up with the Kermit as being the making sense as a 50th because I was like, it's their 50th color scheme. And then I like reflected back to the watch I was wearing, for my wedding, and I was like, dude, this is blue and green. So I'm like, yeah, now it's really, and two, if you notice, like it's actually working now. I
Oh,
dropped it off with our AD because she was like, just drop it off with me. I'll replace the battery. And I was like, well,
yeah.
okay, so how much is that going to cost? She's like, don't even worry about it. Like, we'll take
Sure.
care of you. And I'm like, well, but it's good to have, it's good to make connections like that.
Yeah.
In all fairness, we do, um, sorry, for complete transparency, we do show our gratitude to them, but it
Hmm.
was never in a bribey way. Like we'll give them like, a Christmas present, right? With cards
Right.
and say, hey, thanks, you guys have a wonderful Christmas, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, it's not like we're showering them with like very expensive wines. It's just like table drinking wine, like three different
Yeah.
kinds, or like a little just to show them that we appreciate them and all they do for us because they are working for us. I mean,
Hmm.
they're helping us kind of make these goals.
Yeah. And it's being that likable person, right? If you genuinely care for those people
Yeah.
and you want to show them gratitude, I think that's completely different from,
Mhm.
having that ulterior motive, which even so, who am I to say that's wrong? In a
Right.
sense,
It was
it's
never. Yeah. So I think so. To just kind of put into context, like this is how the quote unquote relationship started.
yeah,
We expressed our interest. Sorry. So we wrote
yeah,
down like the things that we're kind of interested in and for what, right? Like when our birthday
mm,
was, our anniversary, whatever. And when we dropped that stuff off, I think that same visit, my wife, she's like, "Hey, can I, clean your jewelry?" Because they're
mm,
jewelers. That's what they do, right? So
yeah, yeah,
even though we didn't buy the jewelry there, my wife took off her necklace and her ring, and they just hit it in the ultrasound machine for X amount of seconds or whatever, and then came back with it, and we're like, she didn't have to do that. That was like
yeah,
really nice of her, right? So I think the relationship started when we gave her a thank you card for, with like a little, like a very small amount Starbucks gift card. It was just like, hey,
Yeah.
treat yourself to a coffee. Thanks for doing that. You didn't have to do that. And then from there, it was kind of like, back and forth. Like she'd travel to other countries, right? She's from Ghana, so she
Mm.
traveled to back to South Africa. She would travel to like Iceland or whatever. She'd bring stuff back for the kids. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's so
that's
sweet.
awesome. Yeah, she's like a really genuinely, sweet person, and we've just kind of,
Yeah.
reciprocated and have, kind of built it up over. Because to some extent, you do have to, like you were saying, have to be authentic.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to kind of, I don't know, woo them to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It's really it's just a. I sometimes, and I didn't know if I was even gonna bother mentioning this, but I equate it to like CIA case officers.
Okay.
they they have to have some level of like, by what I've read. I'm not part of the agency, nor do I claim to ever know anybody or anything. I'm just saying that they have talked. I've heard of different ones talk about in their either memoirs or podcasts or whatever when they say, when they're developing an asset, they
Okay.
have to kind of get a feel for, hey, is this person ever going to burn me? Kind of
Right.
thing. And essentially, and I straight up asked our AD, our sales associate at some point, I was like, hey, so do they ever give you guys any like training like that? I just was curious.
Yeah.
She's like, no, not really, but there are people skills that you have to have in order to work at a place like that, because you
Hmm.
do have to be able to ascertain whether or not this guy's just here to flip something, because
Right.
it's so easy to do. It's so easy to
Yeah.
do. Watch markets calm down quite a lot since,
Yeah.
but during the hype period, that really high, yeah, they were really on guard.
Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating. That's nice to hear that that story of, building that
Mhm.
relationship, because you kind of usually hear like a bitter person talking about it, what they had to do to get it kind of thing. It seems a bit more wholesome here, at least.
It's grounded to like reality. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
I didn't promise to like buy thousands of dollars worth of jewelry just to get this one thing. They
Yeah.
kind of know our financial situation to a certain extent, so they're like,
Yeah.
dude, they're already like, we're already committing a certain amount of time and waiting, but also committing amount of certain amount of resources to to devote towards, you know I've anytime that I would buy a gift for my mom, my
Hmm.
wife, I bought some pendants, some little cross pendants for our kids. um, I ordered, a necklace also for myself with a cross and on it too. It's silver. This isn't like, thousands of dollars worth of stuff. I hear
Right.
stories of people saying, yeah, man, if you really want a Daytona, thankfully I'm a speedy guy. I'm not really into Daytonas. So, you got to spend like, six figures plus. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe, but also too, it's like, you know, I don't know. I guess everybody's mileage is different. Like your mileage may
Yeah.
vary.
Yeah, it depends on the AD, especially depends on the AD, and
Yeah.
it's hard because I know Clayton has found an AD. I wish Clayton was here. You guys could have talked up a star like that. But
That's awesome.
Clayton from the Watchdog podcast has found an AD that seems really genuine as well. But his previous experience with Rolex was more um, where they seem to have an attitude. I know I'm kind of speaking for Clayton. Clayton, I know you're listening to this later, but I'm sorry if I'm putting the wrong words in your mouth. But he had said that in the previous AD that he was dealing with, they had a more "what have you," like in quotes, "what have you done for me recently," kind of
I
thing.
see. I
Hey,
see.
it's not like a transaction. It's more of like hey, you need to do more for us for you to get this Submariner or this Air King that he wanted, which wasn't even, super hype piece or anything, right? And they were still
No.
being pretty unreasonable about it. So you tend to hear that. And it's
Yeah,
nice to
I think
hear.
too. Yeah, I think too the market that you're in. If like I've got a friend up in Seattle area, and it's the same jewelry company.
Yeah.
They're actually based out of there, so you probably already know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so he says like they're like they just kind of And I'm like, well, you know, you gotta try to do something. It's not like he doesn't have the resources to do it. I said, but if you're gonna buy like jewelry for your wife, because
Mhm.
we got married last year, um,
Yeah.
just maybe pick her up something from there. If you're going to buy her a gift anyway, so just vector it towards them. Show them a little bit of the business. It really is like you can't. It's just like any relationship. It's not all like take take take. There's a
Yeah, yeah.
little bit of giving as well. So long
Right.
as it's a mutual understanding. Even if that mutual understanding is spend six figures for Daytona, unfortunately, then if you have the means, I mean, why not? So
Yeah.
they'll also cater to those kind of customers as well. I think what they try to do is take into consideration your goals. Do they line up with their goals? And I think it helps maybe that I've got two kids,
Mm.
and they come to the store all the time, and so like, hey, it's like a family, old time family relationship that you have with the jewelry store.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. Nothing like young kids to, like, melt cold hearts, to just the fun that they
yeah,
had together and, just the joy that children have. I know
yeah.
I always take my kids to the AD too. My AD doesn't deal
Oh,
with
cool.
Rolex. It's more because I wanna
Yeah,
spend time with the kids while doing
right.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, the, everyone just, breaks out in a smile. The ice is broken, people you never spoke to before, they talk to you and the kids, and ev
Mhm.
just something about kids, just the innocence and the joy. It's kids are great. Uh, but dipping back into the chat here, HM saying the titanium Yachtmaster is nice, but the 36 Yachtmaster is the ultimate girlfriend watch. Um,
Mm.
hmm. Well, I like the 37 Yachtmaster as well. I wouldn't consider myself a girlfriend, but no. I'm guessing HM you mean that that's the perfect watch, like the watch you'd get married to or something. There's a couple of ways we could go there. I don't know.
Mhm.
Uh, let's see. Larry with a question here. I want to buy an iconic watch to be the centerpiece of my collection. Should I just buy a Rolex Submariner and end it, or is it too straightforward? Oh, your thoughts, Reinhardt?
Sorry, I was looking at
Oh, no,
something
no.
else. My fault.
Larry was mentioning that he wants
Um,
to buy an iconic watch to be the centerpiece of his collection. Should he just buy a Submariner and call it?
I can't really speak to without knowing what else you have. Maybe I can't. Plus, everybody's collection strategy is slightly different, I guess.
Yeah,
Too, if you don't already have a dive watch, maybe. Um, yeah, a lot of people think the GMT Master and the Sub, they look so alike now. Especially I've got a Sub date. It's got the
yeah,
Cyclops too, but I'm like, well, it's kind of different. Oh, another thing about this GMT Master 2 is I think that's probably the next thing I want to get from RAD is once they turn the option to buy a spare bracelet. I think I do want to get the Jubilee
right.
um, because it'll kind of turn this watch into two watches. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's really, yeah, but it's gonna take. I think it's gonna be a while. They allowed
right.
for it to happen like for a couple months early or last year or sometime, but I
Okay.
missed the window and I may not have had the watch. No, actually, no, it was earlier this year, but I wasn't. I hadn't asked the question, but she says the next time it comes back around, like when they turn that channel back up, they'll she'll hit me up and so
Yeah,
that'll be nice.
yeah, that would be a good option. I know our friend, not our friend, but we like him a lot. Evan from You're Terrific. He has a
Hmm.
Jubilee bracelet and the Oyster bracelet. I don't know how he did it, but he has a Batman
Hmm.
with both. Um,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to hear how he did that.
Yeah, you could spend like I said, hey, I told my DT, I was like, I could go to Chrono 24 and spend like $4,500 on this. I
Ooh.
really would much rather spend it with you through you guys and spend like less than half of that because it's only 2 grand. That's only it's
Yeah,
it's 2 grand for a
it's a pretty nice
replacement, and it
save.
comes with another clasp. Yeah, exactly.
Comes with another class.
Yeah.
Would it
So
come with a Glide lock? Huh? No,
No,
Jubilee wouldn't
it's
come with a
the
glide lock, right? Yeah.
no, it's the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
Easy Link or whatever it is, which it's fine. I mean, I understand why it's on this because technically, it's you can wear this over a wetsuit, so you can
Okay.
let it out. Like I can let this thing out. I mean, you've seen it.
Yeah.
It's like, look at this. It's like,
Yeah.
now
So
I can
good.
fit like an 8-inch wrist or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like all the way down
Yeah.
my arm now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And yeah. One thing I liked about that is that it doesn't lose its personality, whether you're fully extended or fully contracted. The
yeah,
bracelet still looks cohesive with the design of the watch, right?
yeah, yeah. It's
Um,
it's it's great.
yeah, like when you extend let's say a Grand Seiko dive bracelet, which is
Mm,
not even close, the swing arm gets stuck out. You see the ratcheting, like the notches on the side.
mm.
It's pretty horrendously ugly when you use the micro adjust, and you pull out that clasp out, and the width of the clasp becomes like it engulfs the rest of your wrist pretty much because it's so like, it's just,
Expanded, yeah.
yeah, doesn't look good. And even with Omega, you get like a weird gap when you pull out the micro adjustment there. So it's something, Rolex has really thought it through. It's good stuff. Quickly going through the chat before we call it a night here. Submariner is probably the most common watch design. Maybe get something more unique. Yeah, Larry, I'm not a Rolex guy per se, so I probably wouldn't go down the Submariner route for something to be a centerpiece. I think it should be something with flair, something that it's like the fire in the middle of the fire pit, It's
Mhm.
just
Something like
um
what's his name? What's that? Michael, producer Michael Woodward.
yeah, no, no, not that crazy.
I'm
No,
just
I
kidding.
was thinking maybe
Have
that.
you seen that Godfather watch? I forget who makes it, but anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I
Yeah,
haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. But
it's no, no, no. It like it's a Godfather themed watch. Is what
oh,
I'm
okay.
trying. I think it even plays the tune. It's out there. Anyway, sorry. I don't want to
Really
derail you. Yeah.
interesting. I was thinking the president with the olive dial, the rose gold president. That's multiples of the Submariner, so that's not fair. But Rolex, something. If I'm thinking Rolex,
Yeah.
that's like a fire Rolex to
Right.
use
I
Gen Z
would tend to agree
terminology.
with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But he says he has GSIWC and Ming. That's why I wanted to get something more mainstream. There are
Okay.
some
I
really
see.
cool Speedmasters. Some really cool Speedmasters that I would consider to be
Yeah, there's
centerpiece.
like
Like,
thousands of versions of.
yeah, yeah. But like more recently, something that's really popular is the 2020 Tokyo Speedmaster, like the white dial with the burgundy red
Yeah.
tachymeter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think that would be an incredible, like a centerpiece of the collection. I know it's
Okay.
overpriced right now, but
Mhm.
and there's something significant about the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which didn't happen in Tokyo 2020.
That's true.
uh,
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would think 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that would be a watch that tells a tale.
Yeah.
Maybe not a good tale, but a tale.
Right. Sorry,
uh,
sorry, Dodgers fans, with your 60 game season in 2020 or whatever.
oh, Dodgers, is that
It's a
football?
baseball. Yeah, it's a
Baseball?
baseball joke. It's another baseball
That's
joke. Sorry.
right. No, no.
They won the World Series, but it's because
Okay.
it was a super limited amount of games. As a
Yeah,
Giants fan, I'm supposed to rib on Dodgers fans, so it's
gotcha.
mandatory.
How did the only baseball team I know is the Red Sox. They're baseball, right?
That's
I hope.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
How'd they do?
I don't keep up with the American League. I know
Uh,
the Giants didn't do so hot. They didn't make the playoffs this year. That's okay.
yeah. All right, guys. I think it'll be a good time to call it a night. I know I missed out on a lot of the chat. Oh, hey, Greg's here. Good to see you, Greg. Sorry I missed Missed a lot here. Rolex hate is strong with Sanjay. No, 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 no hate. I'm not a Rolex guy, but I appreciate Rolex. I respect Rolex. um, and the Kermit and Submariner is probably my favorite Rolex. Um, but the my favorite Rolex for me personally, I would say is the Explorer 36, which I hope to eventually make happen at some point after the Santos. But I had to confess I kind of dug into my watch fund again right after recovering from the Pelagos 39. I just got the iPhone 15 Pro Max right here.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I felt it.
USB-C,
I felt it.
USB-C.
Yeah, that's great. Plus, also too, I felt it in hand. It's a little lighter. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
The
think.
only thing I cared about was USB-C.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was
Gotcha. That makes
yeah.
sense.
I
Oh,
had
I
the
hear
11
that.
Pro Max for a bit,
Right.
and then I stayed with Android for a while.
Hmm.
But once
Okay.
USB-C came, it was game over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
eventually. I just had I not gotten the 14 like earlier this year, I would have.
right.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's okay.
It's
I can wait.
yeah. For me, it's mostly because, my USB microphone will plug right into it and I can
Oh,
make videos super easy, airdrop. It's just everything is just click, 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 click.
yeah. It's handy on the iPad Pro. The one I've
Y-
had for a couple of years now has USB-C. It's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
easier. Yeah.
it is. Oh, iPad sidecar, just everything just works so good. I
Nice.
know we spoke about this some time back.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, getting a little into the weeds here. So have a great night, everyone. We're gonna do Watch Soup tomorrow on our channel, Engineer Wannabe, because Mr. Legs is gonna be away. But normally it's gonna be on the Bobby Legs YouTube channel. So if you want to tune in tomorrow night, we'll be doing Watch Soup. But other than that, Reinhardt, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
No, I mean, if you want to follow me on IG, that's great. It's
Yeah,
not like anything other than all I do is post like what I wear on Sunday and maybe food and watches, guns sometimes, maybe
yeah.
some whiskey and cigars on
Oh,
occasion.
yeah.
I've kind of cut back a little bit on that, but I do have a little bit of a collection. So I every now and then celebrate. Yep, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's good
Would
stuff.
I've always wanted to ask someone who smokes cigars. I don't know very many. I know
Okay.
Wolfgang does, but I haven't had a chance to ask him. But
Yeah.
are cigars considered healthier? Are they
Um,
like healthy or
so as far as like getting addicted to them, they're not like 100% healthy. I'd have to
okay?
say they're just because the surface area of like your mouth is not like the surface area of your lungs. The
Yeah.
dopamine uptake is not as um, intense for your body,
Okay.
so you tend not to. I am like you can go months without. Yeah, it's more
Right.
for
Right.
just like enjoyment, kind of slowing down, maybe having like a little whiskey with it, but that's all it really is. It's not like a habit forming thing, but like
Okay.
with anything else, once you start getting collecting, you're like, oh, this is kind of, I don't have this in the collection or that in the collection, but now it's just I enjoy cigars because you have to. It's almost like a science experiment. Like
Y-
you keep it. You have to make sure that it doesn't dry out, but you're not overhydrating. You
Yeah.
gotta burp the ammonia from a Tupperware humidor
Right.
every week or so. It's a science experiment. It's an ongoing thing, and I think I'm
Yeah.
good. I don't have to get any cigars for a few years because I built up quite the collection. And two, it's the type of community where sharing is caring, and I like to
Okay.
hand them out for like birthday presents and just be like, hey,
Oh.
here's like something normally people have like when they have kids, they hand them out. Of
Okay.
late, I've been like, congrats, I've been giving it to them.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. Okay.
just
Good to know. So I'm guessing there's no like you mentioned addictive, so it's not chemically addictive in any way. Like, there's no nicotine
no,
or anything in it.
the nicotine is present, but it's
Oh,
not
okay.
the uptake is not as voluminous as cigarette smoke because you're not inhaling it.
Ah, I see. I
Because
see.
the surface area of your lungs, the dopamine uptake is like exponentially more because there's more surface
Okay.
area. Whereas here, and you're not like, you you're not like
Right.
trying to, suck down a McDonald's milkshake from the '80s through like
Okay.
one of those thin straws. You're not, you're not. as aggressive as some cigarette smokers are with it. So I'm not
Right.
saying it's not addictive. I'm just
Okay.
saying that you'd really have to be trying to get for it to be as addictive as cigarettes. Like you'd
Mm.
really be like at most I'd smoke like one a day, not what I mean.
Yeah.
And some people I've heard like smoke like several 5 to 7 a day, and
Wow.
they're probably addicted.
Yeah.
Anything beyond one, where it's just like if you have one and you just kind of like relaxing, and then you
Yeah.
don't smoke it all the way to the nub and you put it out, and you're like, okay, that's nice, and go brush your teeth and call it a night, and you're not like you don't smell like a casino. You're fine. And what's good about cigar smoke too, like wool, if you wear suits, it doesn't like stick. Typically,
Oh, okay.
it's not the same chemically. There's a lot more chemicals in cigarette smoke, whereas
Yeah.
tobacco leaves, it's 100% just natural. It's just
Mm. Mm.
wrapper, filler, binder, all those things in a cigar. They're just it's just natural stuff that
Hmm.
grows from the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, sir. Well, let's call it a night. And everyone, remember, you are infinitely valuable. You really are. And I hope you know that, guys. I'll see you next week. I mean, see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.